or if you'll put it after number 15.
Make it number 16.
Yeah, and then renumber them. Yeah.
All right, I call to order the Millersville Board of Commissioners regular meeting Tuesday, May 19th, 2020 at 5:30 p.m. If everyone would please stand for the invocation and the pledge. Mr. Gregory.
Father in heaven, we thank you for another day of life and for keeping us safe and healthy during this difficult time as we deal with this virus. We're mindful of first responders, those on the front line. We pray for our fire department, our police department, the doctors and nurses, all those folks that are on the front line and dealing with this terrible illness. We thank you for our community. We thank you for our city. We thank you for our commissioners. We pray that you give them wisdom as they make decisions on behalf of this city. We pray that you would be with us now as we continue with our meeting, that you would continue and bless us, keep us safe. In Jesus' name, pray.
Amen.
Pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Mr. Mayor, before we get started, I'd like to move to amend the agenda to add approval of Resolution 20-R-22, which is to amend the Policy and Procedures Manual for the Millersville Community Center, Playground and Parks. And if we could add it after number 15, make it number 16, to renumber the remaining items accordingly.
Motion has been made and seconded. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, I'll call for a vote. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion carries. Item number 3, approve the minutes from the April 21, 2020 regular commission meeting. Call for a motion.
Move that we approve the minutes from the April 21st, 2020 regular commission meeting.
Second the motion.
Motion has been made and seconded. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, I'll call for a vote. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Item number 4, approve the minutes from the May 4th, 2020 special commission meeting. Call for a motion.
Move that we approve the minutes from the May 4th, 2020 special commission meeting.
Motion has been made and seconded. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, I'll call for a vote. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Item number 5, acceptance of the April 2020 financial report. Call for motion.
Make a motion to approve the acceptance of the April 2020 financial report.
Second.
Motion has been made and seconded. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, I'll call for a vote. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Item number 6, presentation of the 2018-19 fiscal year audit report for the year ending June 30th, 2019. Ms. Karen Stevens, CPA from Blankenship CPA Group. How are you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
Where do you want to start?
Okay. Well, I will go through this pretty quickly because I noticed you guys have a really long agenda tonight, but stop me at any time with a question. I want to introduce very quickly Nicole Sakachi, who is the in charge, who led most of the audit this year, worked a lot with Holly, and so I've asked her to tag along just in case, to give her all the credit and in case there's a question that I can't answer. So we'll move through this pretty quickly. So obviously this information has aged at this point. A lot has happened since we completed the audit and since you're going into your next fiscal year, but I'll just kind of hit some of the high points. All in all, on the opinion page, this is the highest and the best opinion that we can give. The records are in really good shape, as they always are. But you'll see there that everything's presented fairly in all material respects. And then these, because of the type of audit we do, both the financial statement audit and the government auditing standards audit, the paragraphs just keep getting longer and longer every year, more gets added, but as you read through, it tells you which pages we've audited, which pages are management's contribution and all of that. So you can see there, and I'll try to point that out as we go through. But beginning on page 4, pages 4 through 8, I believe it is, 4 through 7, that's management's discussion and analysis. That's a nice summary of just the year as a whole, includes some information about each of the major funds, as well as some of the major purchases that happened during the year, and some very high-level analysis. And then beginning on pages 8 and 9, these are the full accrual financial statements, or the government-wide financial statements. I think I've said this before, but these are not on the basis that you all govern regularly. These are meant to be comparative for purposes of bond rating, or to be able to compare both not-for-profit, governmental, and for-profit entities, tries to get the value, if you will, of the city. So for last year, the total net position at the end of the year on this basis was about almost $14 million, which is an increase over the year before, so a healthy increase from 18 to 19. Beginning on page 10, pages 10 and 11 are really, I think, the basis of accounting that you all would be used to. They match your interim internal reports, but you've got by fund there, your balance sheet, and then behind it, your statement of revenues and expenditures and changes. At the end of last year, your general fund had a very healthy $1.7 million in unassigned fund balance. And that was a slight decrease over the year before. You just had some very purposeful spending during 2019 for some capital projects you had started initially. The beginning of the new city hall, which I drove by on the way here. It's going to be gorgeous, amazing. I know y'all are excited about that. And then there was also the purchase of the fire truck that crossed over fiscal years as well. As well as the, when we get to it, this sewer fund project. So just a summary there of that. And then on page 13, in tiny print, it's an eye test, but it also is a really good picture of the budget to actual numbers, how you did both compared to the original and the final budget, and then broken down by department. So a little bit more detail there that shows the activity sort of by general category by department. I'm going fast. Any questions so far? Okay. On page 14, 15, and 16, these are the financial statements of the sewer fund, the enterprise fund. And this fund, when we get to page 15, I'll have a few things to say, but just to point out, at the end of last year, total net position about $6.3 million, and that is an increase over the year before. So the sewer fund did well compared to from 18 to 19. And no, these financial statements don't include any adoptions of any major new accounting standards. The presentation is very similar to the year before, and so a lot of just consistency from last year to this year. On page 15, I want to point this out. So the sewer fund, as you know, is also regulated through the state. They monitor the financial health of the sewer fund. And one of the things they look at is your income from operations and then your total increase in net position. Both of those numbers, income from operations was $73,000 last year positive, and the increase in net position was $63,000 positive. So those are both good numbers, representing health within the sewer fund. And then beginning on page 17 all the way back to 31 are the footnotes to the financial statements. And there's a lot of detailing. So I just want to kind of point out some of the highlights of things that are noteworthy for you all. The first footnote just talks about all your different accounting policies and procedures, how you recognize and record things, what your internal policies are for various things. And that language is very similar, no changes from the year before in terms of your policies, so very similar language. Note 2 talks about how your liquid assets are invested, your cash and investments. Do they meet the state requirements? And they do. You've got things properly insured and invested in the bank collateral pool, which protects those funds from a government standpoint. Page 25, note 5, and carries over on page 26 is just a summary of all of your capital asset investment. This schedule will get very busy during 2020. You'll see a lot of big numbers start to show up during 2020 for all the capital projects that you have going on. A little bit of that did show in 2019. You've got some construction in progress both in the governmental activities and in the district fund as well. Page 26 and 27, all the way on through to 29, 4 pages, talks about your pension plan with the Tennessee Consolidated Retirement System. And for last year, you had actually a net pension asset. So you, because of the market performance, how well the stock market performed during 2019, your plan was overfunded a little bit at the end of 2019. Now that's shifted. Looking into 2020, as the markets have declined, those numbers will have changed, but last year did very well. So. Page 30 begins some more detailed information about your debt, and again, subsequent to year end, you all have had a significant debt issue, but as of June 30th, very little change in your debt position from your performance. Not a whole lot of change there. All right, I've raced through those pages. Any questions so far? Okay. Page 32 through page 38, I believe it is, 39, are just various schedules that the comptroller wants to see about the city. The first 2 there are about the pension plan itself. And then page 34, 35, and 36 are more information about your other funds, your special revenue funds. So the State Street Aid Fund, the Drug Fund, and the Stormwater Fund. And I will just point out a couple things. On page 35, your Stormwater Fund at the end of last year had improved its position. You had a positive 81,000 last year. So you had taken in some stormwater fund revenue and had not yet probably budgeted or expended some capital outlay within that fund. So you did have a little bit of a reserve built up there. But the State Street Aid and the Drug Fund both were spending down some of those monies that they had. So. Page 37 explains any federal or state financial assistance that you receive. And just as a reminder, we've talked about this maybe in the past, but because of in light of what's going on right now with federal funding passing through states and coming through the local municipalities with the CARES Act and the coronavirus relief, we're expecting municipalities like yours to get some additional funding that's coming from federal and through state. If your expenditures of these federal funds are more than $750,000 in any given fiscal year, that adds on an extra layer of audit, referred to as a single audit or a uniform guidance audit. So you all haven't had one of those in a really long time, but I just want to point that out as a reminder that if you were to receive some excess funding over that amount, that could trigger that type of audit. And I don't think you're probably expecting that volume at this point, but just in case. One other thing I will point out about that is SRF, the revolving loan funds, there is going to be a change in that coming, in that the state of Tennessee going forward is going to consider those federal funds. So if in any given year you were to have a large draw out of SRF funds that exceeded that $750,000, that would also trigger that uniform guidance audit. So that, I think, is a more likely scenario for your city that that could come into play in some way. So just keep that in mind as you move forward in any year where you've got a big borrowing like that you might spend in the future. That's okay. And then 38, 39, 40, and 41 are all just some additional detail about your various debt issuances, as well as your property tax rates and your property tax receivable. which for you all, last year and this year as well, your collections on your property taxes always averages a very high percentage. It's very healthy, so that's another positive for you all. The last couple things I'll go over, that's sort of the end of the financial statement audit. And then, as I said, we also do the governmental standards, and we have to look for compliance with all of the rules and regulations, as well as internal controls and that type of thing. We did have one finding that's in here for this last year, and I hate to even mention it, but we have to. That was a small budget overage in one of the funds, the State Street Aid Fund. Found itself with just a little bit, about $5,000 over what was budgeted for last year. So we commented on that, and management's responded to that, and I know that you all are regular in your adoption of budget and amendments as needed. So it's just a minor compliance issue that we had to point in there. So. But all in all, the audit itself from our end went really well. We did get a late start, which resulted in a late finish, but you guys had a lot of things going on this last year that were outside the scope of the audit, and you will for 2020 as well. So, from our perspective, your team's great to work with. The books and records are very clean when they come to us, and I'm happy to report we didn't have any other findings that we need to report. So that's always good news. But just a very healthy year for the city, and a positive message being brought to you. So.
Good, thank you.
You
you very
don't have any other questions?
I don't. Anybody?
Thank you for the opportunity. It's always fun to deliver good news. So.
Yes, thank you all.
Yeah, it's always good to hear it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Item number 7, acceptance of the June 30th, 2019 financial audit report. Call for a motion.
Make a motion we accept the June 30th, 2019 financial and audit report.
Motion has been made and seconded. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, I call for a vote. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Item number 8 is public hearing. We have 2 public hearings. First one, ordinance 20-741, an ordinance to prohibit the possession and consumption of alcoholic beverages on or in the premises of any property owned by the city. Now open for public comment. Anyone wishing to speak?
That'll make it right comment.
Gotta have your name and address.
I'm sorry, what did you say?
Huh?
I thought you said so.
I said, is there any comment?
I can't hardly hear half what's going on today, sure.
It is a ordinance to prohibit the possession and consumption of any alcohol beverages on or in the premises of any property owned by the city. Hearing no comment, I'll close the public hearing. The second one, ordinance 20-742, an ordinance to amend the Millersville Code of Ordinances, Chapter 58, Parks and Recreation. Now open for public hearing. Anybody? I guess there's anybody on. Are we on that Zoom thing?
No, we're on YouTube.
All right. I'll now close for public hearing. Item number 9, second reading of ordinance 20-740, an ordinance to provide for the election of 4 city commissioners. Passed first reading 4/21/20. Call for motion.
Move that we approve on second reading ordinance 20-740, which provides for the election of 4 city commissioners.
Second.
Motion has been made and seconded. It'll be a roll call vote. Commissioner Gregory.
Aye.
Vice Mayor Bell.
Aye.
Commissioner Petty.
Aye.
Commissioner Doris. And I vote aye. I would like to point out that this is an election for 4 commissioners, 3 4-year terms and 1 2-year term. Item number 10, second reading of ordinance 20-741, an ordinance to prohibit the possession and consumption of alcohol beverages on or in the premises of any property owned by the city. Passed first reading, 4/21/20. Call for a motion.
Move that we approve on second reading ordinance 20-741, which prohibits the possession and consumption of alcoholic beverages on or in the premises of any property owned by the city.
Second.
Motion has been made and seconded. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, I'll call for a vote. It's a roll call vote. Commissioner Gregory?
Aye.
Vice Mayor Bell?
Aye.
Commissioner Petty?
Aye.
Commissioner Doris? And I vote aye as well. Motion carries by a unanimous vote. Item number 11, second reading of ordinance 20-742, an ordinance to amend the Millersville Code of Ordinances, Chapter 58, Parks and Recreations. Passed first reading 4/21/20. Call for a motion.
Move that we approve on second reading ordinance 20-742, which is an ordinance to amend the Millersville Code of Ordinances, Chapter 58, Parks and Recreation.
Second.
Motion has been made and seconded. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, I'll call for a vote. It'll be a roll call vote. Commissioner Gregory?
Aye.
Vice Mayor Bell?
Aye.
Commissioner Petty?
Aye.
Commissioner Doris? And I vote aye as well. Motion carries by a unanimous vote. Item number 12, first reading of ordinance 20-743, an ordinance to amend ordinance 19-725, the 2019-2020 fiscal year budget as previously amended by ordinance 19-730, 20-738, and 20-739 to reflect the actual revenue and expenses related to water damage at the Fire Station 2. Call for a motion.
Move that we approve on first reading ordinance 20-743, amending ordinance 19-725, the 2019-2020 fiscal year budget as previously amended by ordinances 19-730, 20-738, and 20-739, so as to reflect the actual revenue and expenses related to the water damage at Fire Station number 2. Second.
Motion has been made and seconded. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, I'll call for a vote. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Item number 13, first reading of ordinance 20-745, an ordinance to rezone 1124 Louisville Highway, Lot 2, Sumner County, map 141 and parcel 71.00 from residential R5M to commercial C4. Call for a motion.
Move that we approve on first reading ordinance 20-745, which rezones 1124 Louisville Highway, lot number 2, Sumner County map 141, parcel 71 from residential R5M to commercial C4.
I have a question.
Motion has been made and seconded. Is there any discussion?
I have a question.
All right.
It says lot 2. Is there 2 lots up there?
I have no idea.
Yes, it's identified as lot 2.
It was just
Okay, then that would mean it's not the whole piece of property that he owns.
No.
No idea. It's
You're talking about behind you.
parcel
Right.
71-00.
Yeah, I know where it is.
It's that section.
On the very top,
Yeah.
not the bottom.
No.
Okay.
Top.
All right,
Top left.
okay.
South of it.
Okay.
Mr. Mayor, the planning commission voted by majority to recommend the rezoning of this parcel from residential R5M to commercial C4 on March the 10th, 2020.
Any further discussion?
Well, on the map, it had, there, on the map, you had 1 and 2.
Yeah.
One is up there where the door units are now.
Yeah.
The other one's under 2.
Correct.
Yeah, but that's what it's not that bottom property.
No.
It's not the whole piece of property up there, it's just that one section.
The planning commission just approved the upper section.
Yeah. Lot 2.
That's what was presented to the planning commission.
Okay.
over there about three.
Evidently. Or somebody, I was told somebody else on this. And whether he told us right, wrong, or in between. That section. Where the apartment was going to go 5 years ago.
This will have a second reading on it.
Yes.
All right, this will have a second reading, so we'll get verification between
It'll go to the
now
work session.
and the work session, and that way we'll know exactly what it is.
Thank you.
And I presented this to you at the work session, the previous work session in May, and it had the copy of the letter, and maybe it had the map, and I failed to attach those to
Well,
this.
it had a map, but it showed,
Right.
like Milton said, looked like it showed the whole thing instead of just what I was told by the owner it was gonna be. I mean, like I said, it could have been, and he might have been mistaken, or he might have said, well, we're just gonna do this, but, and then I changed his mind since before he went to the commission, but evidently he didn't, so, you know, okay.
As long as the map you're talking about, the map shows, two anymore.
Well, where the mini storages are now, it is already C4.
Oh, yeah, that's
So-
it.
My understanding, it's the rest of the parcel.
That's what I thought.
That's what I.
Yeah, the parcel is not, what I was told, it's the top that's not fenced in, they're gonna move the fence, and then reconfigure it.
It'll be the entire parcel, whatever that parcel is, and I have no idea what that parcel is.
You'll see if you see the map, but it's not the bottom part. The pole. Let me reiterate that. Okay, we got till the next week.
Yeah, it'll come back on the work session.
Just want to bring it to the attention where we can have it clarified, please.
Any further discussion? Hearing none, I call for a vote. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Item number 14, review and take action on change order number 7 and 8 from Boger Construction for the City Hall expansion project. I'm assuming Mr. Whitaker.
Yes, or Craig, I'm not sure.
On change order number 7, you'll see basically about a $17,500 change for utilities. That is to install a backflow preventer, a hot box, and all the necessary plumbing as per White House Utility District's specification down at the existing meter you have on the north side of the property.
Excuse me, Brian, can y'all come up to the front of the table here, because it's on YouTube?
Well, they can be heard right over here if you don't
Yes.
mind.
We gotta get you on camera.
It's the backflow preventer.
Yeah, just stay here.
Okay.
It's to keep the water from running backwards.
Yeah, it's required on any commercial property that's anywhere within the utility district.
Okay.
There's also a $10,300 plumbing change order. That is to put in gas lines for the HVAC unit. When we originally bid the job, we were informed there was no gas on the site. After the bidding had been done, we were informed the gas was on the site. It's more efficient to have gas furnaces as opposed to electrical furnaces. So we went ahead and changed that out on the plans and had the change order redone. Electrical, you'll see, as part of putting the backflow preventer in, the electrician has to trench in a dedicated circuit to the backflow and put in heat tape so it does not freeze. So that is pretty much the summary of change order number 7.
Are you gonna ask about?
Change order number 8 is inclusive of the fire separator wall that has to be installed between the new building and the existing building. And that one, I think, is just a touch over $90,000. We'll be happy to answer any of your questions if you may have any.
What are the figures under general conditions? What is that?
So it's primarily that is the site super being on site, and what they do is they catalog their, the bond. So they would get audited at the end of the year for their bond payments. They factor that in as they go along with changes. Otherwise, they would come back probably towards the end and try to get 1% some, which as it has been explained to us.
State that again.
So as it has been explained to us, there's a performance bond on the job from the contractor. And that's based off of the total fee that they bid on. As a result of the change orders and the fee going up, there is a slight adjustment that was made to the bond. This is coming straight from Dover Construction. While that bond doesn't adjust during the project, they get audited at the end of the year on the changes. So under their general conditions, they factor in that adjustment that would have to happen to the bond. That's the way it's been explained to us.
So basically, their general liability insurance is gonna go up $4,600 to do that work.
Yeah, that's,
Basically, that's okay.
Can you explain the overhead and the fee?
That's their profit.
Yeah, so they have a 10% overhead fee for everything overhead that doesn't come from the direct labor, and then they have a 5% profit fee built into that. So it's technically a 15% markup of just the change order. And that occurs at every level of the project. So, for example, with the electrician, he has a 10% overhead, 5% profit on his number, which gives us the total of the 10,000 change. And then once that number gets totaled into Boger's full change order, Boger has their 10% and 5% tax on top.
So we're paying 15% to the plumber, to the electrician, and the boger?
yeah, you pay 15% to the plumber, and then Boger's tacking on another 15% of that 15%.
Where is the backflow preventer gonna go?
At the meter,
Where's the meter?
at the intersection of your second entrance in the highway, down in that little bottom area.
Did we have a backflow preventer previously,
Not that I'm aware of.
and it's just now being added?
That is correct.
Okay. And it takes care of the entire premises up there, not just the addition?
Yes, sir, you are correct. So if and when you decide to even add on anything else to that service line, you will not be required to put any type of other apparatus like that on.
How big a circuit do they have to run down there?
I'm unsure. I'd have to ask. We were told it has to be one single dedicated circuit. It cannot be anything else on that circuit.
That next door to me, the Chad, they're right on 10.
Well, I mean, I would say it's just heat tape.
All it is the heat, like you said, the heat tape on that.
I would imagine nothing more than a 15 amp
And it's covering, it just covers the part of the pipe that's out of the ground, correct?
Yes, sir, that's correct.
Just in that box.
Yes, sir, that's correct.
That's an awful expensive ditch.
And we went back and forth, I mean, we went back and forth, I believe, for just over a month with Boger working on this change order. I mean, when it originally came in, it was just over $63,000.
Oh, how much?
Over $63,000.
We did not feel that that number justified the work they were going to have to do, so we kept going back and forth with Boger and the subs to get what we would believe is a reasonable number.
So, and I'm just asking, I'm not throwing anybody on the bus, but why did we not think we needed a backflow preventer when we designed the building?
Originally, it was assumed there was already one, and that the service was going to come off of the interior existing. It did not come off the interior existing because it was unable to. We didn't want to cut up concrete and all those type of things and destroy more in the existing building. So we pulled the service off of the main line that's out under the entryway. And by doing that, that promoted the fact that we had to put the backflow preventer down at the meter.
And who made the decision to do that?
That was under the code's review.
Let's get back to this. Now, go ahead.
This only applies to commercial.
Yes, sir. If you have any type of commercial property, there's supposed to be a backflow preventer on every service.
Yeah, when I had my building in Goodlettsville, I had to come into the backflow for Madison
Suburban Utility.
For reference, we checked backflow preventer for the community center. It's located outside the back door here, and you can actually see the chrome hot box for the library right from the street. Because we were initially trying to find a way around it, where maybe it was only required because of sprinklers or maybe on the lines, but it was not. And code ultimately said no matter what, you had to add it, so we went back to both facilities.
essentially.
Let's get back to that add-on 15% or 5%, whatever it was. Is this already figured into this 29.5 for this masonry, or is this on, that others on top of that 29.5 for that masonry?
You're talking about in change.
It's already
number
figured
eight.
in.
It's already figured in?
Yes.
So
sir.
that 29.5 is figured in for the subcontractor.
And that fee is already figured in on that?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so if you took the 15% off the 29, that would be
What the true cost.
What the cost is of it.
what
Yes.
the masonry man's getting.
Yes, sir.
Quite honestly, on the masonry, we were expecting it to be closer to $40,000. So it came in under what we were expecting.
So it's, 80 is, 90,000, and number 7 is the 46.
Yes, sir.
Hot box, looks like we dropped the ball on that somewhere. I'm not saying y'all did, I'm not saying we did, I just said we.
We didn't, we're not designers.
But our engineers.
Codes have come also a long way since that original building was built. I mean, if I remember correctly, that building was built in the late 80s.
In the
91.
91.
91. So, I mean, it's very possible that
Yeah, yeah.
those are different back then. So.
Well, I mean, it's apparent they wasn't required in 91, but they are now.
We ought to come under grandfather right there.
No,
The
don't work
reasoning
that way.
for us to do the investigation to check on backflow preventers for this building and the library, if they didn't have one, that
They
was
do.
going to be our justification to go back and say we didn't want one because we could be grandfathered.
White House
But,
Water ain't gonna let you build it without one.
Yeah,
So
we
darn
ran into
do, darn we
several,
don't.
yeah, we ran into several obstacles.
They don't want contaminated water.
Worse.
And just so you guys are aware too, that 17.5, it doesn't quite explain it on the proposal, looking at it, it just says pad, heat tape, hot box, backflow. There's also the gravel, all the other underground stuff that we can't see that goes into preparing the pad for that. You also factor in replacing some of that existing pipe that's in there.
Yeah, but I mean, it's just not that much. I mean, it is what it is. I'm not as concerned about that one as much as I am the wall. The letter that we've got from Andrew, number one, why was option one just ruled out? Who ruled that out? The
Oh,
You may or may not have seen.
we have not seen that to be able to.
Gotta be far greater.
The letter, so number one, just so we're aware, yeah, providing a letter from the city official accepting drawings as is.
They accepted them once. Somebody did. That's how we ended up with them.
But ultimately,
What changed?
so the drawings were the proposed addition was designed, and ultimately didn't go through our full QA/QC process internal to OHM as a result of trying to get this bid done. We did not stamp the bid drawing because we weren't comfortable stamping them as a complete, ready-to-go drawing. When we go through an internal review process, this issue was bound to come up because ultimately, from a stamping architecture perspective, it did not meet the intent of the code to provide life safety between the addition and the existing. And essentially what it is, the whole crux that caused the problem is there's a structural stability clause within the code that states for a firewall to be considered a firewall and not a barrier, one side has to be able to burn down and collapse without the wall coming down. The way it was designed, that bid, was that if the existing building burned and collapsed, it would be fine. But because that wall was supporting the roof of the addition, if the addition caught fire, the wall would collapse and ultimately your rating is now gone and can spread very easily into the existing. So as a result of having the formal code review happen, we found that. And there's a whole myriad of what ifs behind it if that were to come up.
Well, what I'm saying is, we had 2 years, we spent 2 years designing this building, getting it ready to go out for bid. We send it out for bid, we get started, and then $100,000 wall pops up. Nobody's seen that coming?
The way it was posed to me was when the initial code review was done, OHM tried to stress the fact to sprinkler. When sprinkler was said no, and we were told to never bring it up again, we continued down the path to start working on the fire system.
Who told you not, never bring it up again?
That would have been Mr. Barton.
Here we go.
Several members of the architecture side were very concerned about it. Mr. Bob Pelosi, before Brian was with us, was the one who informed us of that comment.
So, and this is just for clarification. What if we don't approve $90,000 to build that wall? What happens then?
Probably won't get your occupancy permit.
It won't do what?
You won't get your occupancy permit. You won't be able to occupy it.
And who would deny that?
Well,
No, he's not doing the inspections.
Goodlettsville
They're not
is
the,
doing the inspections.
Goodlettsville's doing the inspection.
So Goodlettsville would have, whoever is coming over to do the inspections would have to say, based off of Millersville regs, would I ultimately have to say on occupancy.
That being said,
There is a directive that we could go through, the construction change directive, where basically it says, we need this built, it goes forwards, and you continue negotiating price. That's when you start getting into a lot more legal matters on the process.
so is this to build 2 separate walls or just one wall?
It's to build an additional wall inside of what's already built. So right now you have your back wood frame wall that butts up against your existing one. Inside, technically it's inside the existing building. They have to saw cut and remove some of the slab and pour a new turn down. And then they're going to build a solid 8-inch concrete block wall that will infill between the steel members that are currently there. They will also spray fireproof all the steel, and then they're going to build a small furring wall inside to finish it off so that you're not seeing CMU, you're seeing sheetrock gypsum. The fact that you need fire-rated lumber at your ceiling extending out, you have to build the wall. There's labor to get the CMU now into the building, because before it was just a matter of moving CMU, the truck getting it into that space. Now they have to manually bring those blocks through the addition into the space to press. There's also the process we went through NFPA to get this double wall assembly approved. We have to provide 2 small vestibules at any penetration. We have to provide a vestibule. So there's 2, which has basically a double wall assembly. You have a 2-hour weighted shell around the vestibule.
Why was option 1 ruled out?
We wasn't gonna get to move in the building, I guess.
From an architect standard perspective, we did not feel comfortable standing. It was not meeting the intent of what always safety codes.
What life safety code, what year are we looking at? Are y'all utilizing to make these decisions?
So we have the 2015 IBC.
Is that the one we're using for this building?
Correct.
What is the previous life safety code?
The previous code would be 2012, which is 3 inch cycles.
2012 code. Does it differ in respect to this issue regards to a barrier wall, because as you mentioned earlier, if the fire happened in the existing portion of the building or the existing city hall, that wall, as it currently sits there, acts as a firewall, correct?
Correct.
So we do have a firewall if the fire originates in the existing building.
No.
No, if it originates in the existing building, we have a firewall.
You would, because if the existing building was to collapse, that wall remains
The wall
intact.
does not collapse.
If the fire's in the addition, though, that's when it would collapse and your fire won't.
How is the wood wall that's there a firewall?
Wood wall that is currently there is considered a fire barrier because it does not have the structural stability clause. There are three types of like firewall separations. There's a partition, which is literally just an internal wall that is rated around. There's a barrier that goes from floor up to roof, which is what we have currently. And then your firewall, which is floor to roof, but also has the structural stability clause so that either side of the wall can collapse without that wall.
So we have a fire barrier from the existing portion of the city hall into the, I guess, the new addition. But we don't have that vice versa, is that correct? Because we tore out the wall that's in the existing. All right. The 2012 safety code, does it allow for a fire barrier? If this city were to adopt the 2012 fire safety code,
Can't go back.
you can't go back? You can't
I
go
don't
back?
think so.
Not that I'm aware of.
Okay.
I've never heard of a municipality going backwards on the codes.
Well, I mean, I've never heard of it going back to codes, and I'm not saying we can, but these are just possibilities. And I'm not saying that the 2012 is any different from 2015. I don't know that either. That's an option.
I don't think you can go backwards on the code.
I've never heard it.
I don't think you,
I'll be honest with you, I've never heard of it, but I've never heard of anybody trying it either.
True.
there's been a lot that's wanted to go backwards.
Yes.
Did you not say 15 and 12 the same?
And 15 and 12 may be
They're
the
not the
same,
same.
but it may not matter. I'm just throwing that as hypothetical.
They might be the same on that wall, but they're not the same code.
Correct.
I'm just talking
So
about on that wall.
we're not sure. We were running by the 15 code. We'd have to go back and look up the 12 code and see if it existed in there.
Which I actually just did, and there is still a structural stability clause. It's section 706.2 of
So
the
that,
clause.
that's good enough. That's what I want to know. I'm just trying to figure out any other options that we might have available.
Right.
And that option was not available because of the 2012 code, 2015 code, both have the structural stability clause. So that rules that out. Other than that, were there any other reasons that if a letter from the city officials accepting the drawings without the changes, that would prevent us from getting probably an occupancy permit? Unless, of course, you said.
So technically, OHM could have presented that letter to the city. And you guys, the city could have accepted the drawings as is. As the licensed architect that takes the liability on that, I guess that would actually alleviate liability from our stand, because essentially it is the city now accepting liability that if anything were to happen in that building regarding that firewall, it is on the city solely. Standing architects, obviously, we take certain liabilities when we stamp drawings as it is code compliant. So
Would that affect the insurability of the building by the?
Probably higher.
By the, what is that we have?
TML.
Would that affect us as far as public? I would say yes.
Yeah, if it's not constructed to the specifications, like in mine.
I tend to agree. I don't think it would hurt us on the insurance because I don't think you'd ever get in the building.
I don't think it would either, but I want to make sure that we think all these points through.
Like you said, I don't think you're going to get a inspector that's going to sign off.
Yeah, we're not going to get an inspector to
sign off, they'll get a CO on it.
And we,
Yeah.
and we did try going back to the structural engineer, talking through options that would, we worked probably 5 or 6 different options trying to minimize the impact of this change. The easiest one that we were hoping that we were going to be able to do was to, rather than having the roof rest on top of the wall, which is the current condition, is to actually hang it, so that the roof, and having, basically, if it ever heated up, those hangers would melt away and the roof would fall away.
Which roof? The new roof?
The big roof, yes. So in talking to the structural engineer, that was not an option because of the amount of load that's.
So the firewall in the old part is to protect the new roof?
It's so that whether one burns down or not, you still have a rating.
So which one could burn down now and the other one still be there?
The old part could burn down now.
Correct. So the way it is sitting currently today, because the CMU has not been erected, the existing building could burn down, collapse, and your addition would still maintain your power. But if it was the first roll where the addition burned, you now no longer have a rating to your system.
When did OHM first become aware of this concern and when did you bring it to the attention of Mr. Barr?
I believe it became a concern during the first code review.
When we did an initial code review at the very early stages of my involvement in the project, we did an initial code review that showed that sprinkling would be the best option because there's also other ramifications within the building that no sprinklers trigger. So we proposed sprinkling.
Was that a year ago, 2 years ago?
Year to year and a half ago.
The first time that I ever heard the word sprinkled was in that meeting that letter talks about.
Yes.
That's the first time I heard it too.
Only thing I'll say, it's a good thing Mr. Barr is not here.
And I was not happy at that time. But that was the first time I heard it.
Yes.
But y'all were facing this, I guess, this decision to be made a year and a half ago, and a year and a half ago. And it wasn't brought to the attention of us, which it shouldn't have been. It should have gone to the responsible party, and y'all did.
And we did look into option number 2, where it was outfitting the addition with a sprinkler. And Andrew Superior told us that all we would have to do is provide points to tie in for when the existing was modernized. And ultimately, what it comes down to is it still would have been a significant add to the project. It would have been a significant time delay to the project. And we're already facing delays because of the weather in February. So we did a very quick calculation where I think it was going to be at least $80,000 add and about 6 months of a delay to sprinkle.
When was, y'all don't mind being in the trailers for 6 more months, do you?
Oh, no.
All right.
Just for clarification, the gas line
Yes.
misunderstanding was also as a result from that same official
Yes.
who said we didn't have gas in the building.
Yes, you are
And
correct.
we did,
And that was actually brought to our attention during the bid process. So actually,
right.
one of the bidding contractors posed the question to us because they did not see gas even on the existing utility survey that we had. And so we were informed that there is in fact no gas in the building. So we very quickly went through a bidding addendum, which I believe got to bidding contractors I think the day before the bid to switch to electric.
We got a gas meter, don't we?
Yes, sir.
Well, during pre-con, Holly, I believe you went into the fire apparatus bay and saw.
Well, I paid the bills for the utility bills, so I knew we had gas. I knew we heated with gas.
During pre-con,
So,
that there is in fact gas.
Well, the thing that don't make any sense is as many OHM people that was around that building, as many drawings as they brung of the parking lot and of the outside of the building, of the existing, it just amazes me that they didn't see a gas meter.
Is it in the
They do one
fire
thing.
department bay, wasn't it? The
gas meter, I
No,
believe, is
gas meter's
outside the bay.
The outside.
It's on that other side of the building.
Yeah.
Over back.
door.
But I think the savings on the gas versus electric
Yeah, I do
will
too.
make up for that small cost, so.
Yeah, I agree.
I'm good. I'm not happy, but I'm good.
I don't guess we have a choice. I'm not happy, but, we gotta live with it. I thought we weren't gonna have any, change orders on this project.
Guess that flew out the window.
That's what you told me.
Have to find other places to cut.
Go talk to Michael. So what y'all want to do?
I move that we accept these revised proposals for change orders, revised proposal 7 and 8, change order 7 and 8 as presented. And
Motion has been made and seconded. Is there any discussion?
We don't need no more change orders.
do y'all foresee any other change orders?
We need some more change orders, but we need them to go the other direction.
Got that right. It's going the wrong way.
Mr. Whitaker, do you foresee any?
There is a potential as it progresses. We want you to understand that it's not a direct pass-through to this commission. We do go back, as Craig said, the one you have in front of us is, we've had it for over a month and we've been arguing with the general contractor and his subs.
Will there be any savings coming back from the non-change order of the plumbing?
We have asked that we want to see some type of savings from that, and there potentially could be some others that we're going back with some of their subs on that they have magically just forgot to inform us of that need to be taken care of.
Okay.
Well, I would say this, that if there's not savings in the non-changing plumbing change orders, then I'd want what was bid to be put in.
Understand?
I mean, fair is fair.
Yes.
That's right.
Any further discussion?
We have a motion to second.
Yes.
Milton.
They did, yeah.
Hearing none, I'll call for a vote. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Item number 15, approve the mayor's appointment of city commissioner and a citizen to serve on the Millersville Towing Authority and schedule a date for the first meeting. I
Thank you.
believe that's you, ain't it, Milton?
Yeah.
And I believe Deborah Chadwick, and then it'll be Holly.
Okay.
Does
Or
any-
my designee,
or
which will
her
be
desi-
Dan.
Which will be Dan.
Move that we approve the mayor's appointment of the city commissioner and citizens to serve on the Millersville Towing Authority. And I guess we do that first. Second.
Motion has been made to approve the appointment of Commissioner Milton, Ms. Deborah Chadwick, and Mr. Dan Toole as the towing authority for the city of Millersville. Anyone have any discussion?
What do you want me to do?
Well, we'll have
We'll
to,
get to that.
we'll have to
Yeah.
contact Ms. Chadwick, I guess, to schedule a meeting.
Any further discussion? Hearing none, I call for a vote. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Those opposed? So you will contact all members?
Yeah,
And
we'll need to
get a
schedule a
meeting?
date, yeah.
Is that good with y'all, Milton?
Yeah.
All right, item number 16. Resolution 20-R-22, a resolution to amend the policies and procedures manual for the Millersville Community Center playground and other city-owned park property. Call for a motion.
Move that we approve resolution 20-R-22, which amends the policy and procedures manual for the Millersville Community Center, playground and parks. And we have a copy of that change resolution with highlighted areas of concern that we've had in the past.
In a second.
Is there a second?
I second.
Motion has been made and seconded. Is there any discussion?
Who's taking care of this?
So Dan has been working on this, we both have for quite a while. We have talked to Melissa and got her opinion as we went through revising the manual that you all approved back in March. Some of this wording just didn't make sense to us. So we felt the need that we just needed to make it easier to read and understand. So we went through it and this is what we came up with. As far as, in some sections, it had 30 days, then it said 30 business days, or it had 14 days, or it had 60 days. Everything was different. So we wanted to make it,
30 days. Yeah, that makes sense.
right, except for
Except the amphitheater,
amphitheater, 60 days.
less than 60 days.
Is Melissa still in charge of rentals, or is she in charge of any of this right here, this resolution?
What's that,
Well,
Melissa?
She's in
Melissa.
charge of-
The rental.
She's still in charge of it?
Right.
I think we give her a year, didn't we, to try it out?
Yes, and, yeah, and they've got another contract coming due, and she's going to present that, so we can go over that too at our next meeting. But the other thing that they requested is they prefer not to deal with any cash. So we did make that change.
Is that in here?
Yes, we just took everywhere that said cash, we took it out and just, that we accept check, cashier's check, money order, credit card for any rentals. Anything within 30 days of the rental date has to be paid.
Does she take that money, does the city take it?
She takes they take everything. They bring everything to us, all the
Good.
paperwork to us. Because we still handle the deposit refunds. So, so that's some of the changes. It affected the reservations. Dan, do you remember? Oh, there was a holding fee mentioned in the other policy, and if you look at the back that's highlighted, this is what was originally in the policy. So this is what we changed. And we didn't differentiate between daily rentals, hourly rentals. We just made it straightforward and easier to understand. But, and hopefully we addressed everything. But
Has the library opened back up yet?
just they're doing curbside only.
Do we have an idea when this building will open back up?
Library is June 1st.
Is it June 1st?
Yeah, that's what was sent out by the whole. So we'll need to decide when we're going to open.
This building, yeah. But one of the things we addressed in here, it called for a holding fee, and it was, the way it was worded was just not very clear. So we just took out the holding fee because it was any cancellation prior, let's say 30 days and after. It's kind of strange. So we just put in that if you cancel within 30 days of the rental, you'll forfeit your deposit. But we did away with the holding fee. There wasn't no sense in doing that either. So, and we did send this to Melissa. Melissa's reviewed it and she was okay with it. So. Do you have anything to add?
No, you covered it all.
Yeah.
All right. Anything further? Hearing none, I'll call for a vote. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Passes unanimous. Item number 17, citizens' comments. Anyone wishing to speak? Guess not. Item number 17, city manager's comments. Dan?
On the economic development side, we've had some phone calls from some property owners inside the city limits that are possibly wanting to do some development of different kinds. I haven't really put together a plan to bring to the city, but they sounded quite excited and positive to do something, so looking forward to that. Nothing exact or concrete yet that I can share with you. Last week, Andrew and I met with a realtor who was representing a developer looking for land to build some lower value homes, affordable homes. So we don't know where that's going to lead. He was going to get back with the developer and see if they wanted to pursue some different areas. They looked at the 155 acres up on Bethel Road. That may be too big for what they wanted to do. So we'll see. We'll see how that turns out. That's it.
Ms. Hawley?
Okay, I've got a few things. So we have our next work session is June 1st. And the rate study, the sewer rate study that was mandated by the state wastewater board is completed, and that will be presented at the work session. He has requested that he present it by Zoom, and I believe, Brian, you know how to do that and get him. So he's going to do the presentation by Zoom. So we'll look at him at a computer, if that is okay with you all. He had requested that it be done that way.
Matter to me.
What do we expect to come up with? The rate study, what do we expect?
The rate study is actually finished.
Yeah.
He presented a draft form to Holly and myself for proofreading and review. I have sent comments back. He's made those. Going to request that he sends a formalized report so that you'll have it in your hand.
I got it. He delivered them yesterday. I have the books. Yeah, they're ready.
When will we get those?
I have those at the office that you can get those anytime. And on that same topic, I know that when Karen presented the audit earlier, and we did have we did not have a loss for the June 30th, 2019, but the rate study was mandated due to the previous 2 years' loss. So we had to have it done. They made us, and there is going to be a rate adjustment based on the study that was done.
Didn't the commission address the issue of
We did
loss?
right. We did in July, which is not had not gone into effect with the 6/30/19 audit, but it probably wasn't enough. So we'll have to look. The other thing too is for this fiscal year we're in now, I had reallocated some salaries and we were a man short. We just put that guy back on. We added that position back. So it's our expenses are gonna be higher next year. So that's expected, but he knew that we had that extra position that wasn't filled at the time. So I haven't actually put the numbers together for the next year, but we'll have the presentation and we'll have to go from there on the rate study.
Didn't we address the issue also about some of the sewer bills, there'd be 3 and 4 different homes on a sewer bill, like over off of Slavers Creek? There was a discussion about that in our July meeting last year. Y'all remember that?
Have we addressed anything like that, Amy, that you know of? No.
There were some issues that came up in regards to up on Raider Lane and off Slaters Creek, that there are some residential homes that are being rented out.
On the same meter.
They were on 1 meter only, but that 1 meter was servicing 3 and 4 different units.
On a residential rate?
On a residential rate. Did we address that? And is that addressed in the?
Definitely addressed in the code book.
Well, I know it's in the code book, but I'm just looking at the.
Do you know off the top of your head, Amy, if they're charged, do you know of those instances?
About rental homes that we could really.
Yeah, we've had that discussion on numerous occasions, or at least 2 occasions. And I thought that, apparently I was dreaming this because the rest of the commissioners don't remember. But I thought we had directed that it be looked at as a commercial expense because it was a for-profit commercial venture.
Well, they are going on. Say there's three homes on 1 meter, they're charged 3 base rates.
Yeah, that's on some of them, like on Slaters Creek, I think that's what's occurred. But off Raider Lane, that's not what's occurred. There was some inconsistencies. As I recall,
The only property I know of that would have more than 1 meter on one parcel is the Reynolds property.
And I don't know
That's
that
the
we
only
would
one
know
I know.
that.
But
mean, don't-
I think they all get their separate bill, don't they? Does the Reynolds property just get one bill or multiple bills?
No, okay, so no, they get one bill. There's two. They get two.
Because I know there's 4 houses there.
all right,
You know,
well, I'm-
some of
I'm
these,
not
we
trying-
may not know that there's 4 hookups on a meter.
Well, we should if we
I
put,
mean,
if we
if we
put
can
the
find
tanks in.
gas lines, we can find out it's there.
I mean, we service the tanks.
Yeah.
We inspect them and we service them.
Throughout the city,
That we,
that I'm aware of.
Okay.
Name off the top of my head.
so you would be aware of them. I mean,
There's some, yeah, there
Yeah.
are more, but I mean.
Yeah.
They're there, or they are pretty much there.
yeah.
Well, this issue was raised, a year ago. That's how I'm aware of it. But, I mean, whether we go one way or the other, I'll go with the consensus of the Board of Commissioners. But it's something that, if we're gonna raise this issue, we need to answer it one way or the other.
I'm like, yeah, it's not fair for some to pay and some not.
I remember us talking about trailer parks.
That's all I
I
got.
remember that.
Trailer
Like
park.
Mr. Mayfield's got 2
Yeah.
grinders
He does.
for 8 trailers. But now we don't manage those. Those are his grinder pumps. If something goes wrong with it, he has to fix it.
Yeah.
Because that is a commercial, that's a business. We treat it just like we would the Napa store.
Maybe, I may have been confused then.
I know we had talked about that in the past. Why,
Might be look for each other has its own separate water.
Yeah, they'll have their own.
yeah, but it's like over Randall Vaughn's trailer park. Those are all on gravity sewer. Rather than us sending 110 bills to that trailer park, we send 4, I believe, 1 for each street. And then Mr. Vaughn pays the sewer bill to the city, and then he parcels out the sewer to each trailer through their rent.
And I believe that's the way he chose to do it.
Oh, yeah.
The one over here on C. Smith Pole Hill, did they do it that way?
On 160 or, but they're all longer. Okay, so he had a third party company come in and meter each individual trailer to put out how much water's coming into each one. And they made that separate from somebody else, but the sewer bill is billed in one.
Yeah.
But they pay individual water companies, so they all have their own bill. But his,
Each trailer has a sewer bill.
yeah,
Then-
they have a couple of pumps, but
Yeah.
they each have their own bill.
So he chose to just have each trailer have its own bill, but he's only got 2 pumps.
Yeah, that's what I'm water.
Yeah.
So that's-
Yeah, meters, yeah.
If there's only one water meter, there's nobody separating.
Yeah. I mean, that would be the problem over with Mr. Vaughn's trailer park. I don't know how many meters he's got. I'm assuming it's 4, 1 for each street.
Yeah.
And then he probably gets 4 bills on the sewer, and then he manages however he decides to charge his people for the sewer. That would be a nightmare, trying to send 110 bills to that trailer park. Especially if there's only 4 meters, you wouldn't know who used what.
And I guess the apartments, how do we bill the apartments for sewer?
They get one bill, with, their, I believe, commercial rate. They get one bill with, well, they're on through commercial now, so they used to be billed residential.
Right. Yeah. Now it's commercial.
And they just,
They do have that session.
Yeah.
they just partial it out in their rent. That makes the most sense, so,
Right.
okay.
But the trailer parks they're charged at a residential rate.
independent shift, are going to go to rental homes. Yeah,
I think if they own their homes, I wonder how that works. Some of them own the trailers, like the Davises. Now, these people own their homes?
Some do, some
Some
don't.
do, okay. Right, I guess
That's
that
like
is
Randall
Mayfield.
Bond. Randall
Yeah,
Bond owns
yeah.
several of those trailers
Right.
up there, but probably the majority of them are owned by the
Yeah.
tenants.
Yeah.
He just rents a lot. So that's why he keeps up with all his stuff. Just, it makes it a lot easier bookkeeping. Anything else?
Let's see. Yes, so that will be on the June 1st work session. And then also the zoning ordinance. Andrew did make the changes that was requested, but I forgot to advertise the public hearing for this meeting. So that's my fault. It has been advertised for a special meeting and a public hearing after the work session, June 1st. So we will have a public hearing and second reading on the zoning ordinance change after the June 1st work session.
Can we go stop by the city hall and take a look at the changes?
And do
Yeah.
what?
The zoning changes that we suggested?
Or I can email them to you, or I can print them. Okay. And the police department has sent me the SOPs, and I did not know if I've sent them to our attorney to have him review them. And I did not know if you guys want me to make those available to you to look through, or wait till the attorney comes back. I can email them, I can print them.
I would rather see the final version.
Okay. So I'll wait and see what the city, I think it's 133 pages, and I haven't read it yet either. But those have been completed.
We can read.
And one other thing is I did go ahead and prepare, I've got it ready, a continuing budget resolution in the event we do not get our new budget adopted by June 30th. I have a continuing budget resolution ready just in case, because we still have to meet to do the budget discussions with the department heads and then have first and second reading, and I have to do these ads to go in the paper.
COVID-19, you're restricted on what you can get accomplished.
Well, and I did talk to the state, Steve Osborne, with the Office of State and Local Finance, and they said that was fine with them, that they would understand, and that he actually said it's not really necessary because in our current budget, Section 8 already talks about if the budget is not adopted by June 30th, this one would be the continuing budget for appropriations. So, but I have it ready just in case I do have to have it adopted at the June meeting. And just want to remind everyone that the cleanup day has been rescheduled to June 20th.
Well, I sure hope they have it.
I know. I know, I do too.
Can't handle me more disappointing phone calls from Melissa, whatever her name was.
And I think that's, one other thing I did lay before you. I know there's nothing on the agenda tonight. With regard to the John Lowe Scholarship, this email came to me from our City Judge Johnson, and the Tennessee Municipal Judges, is that conference,
Yeah.
Keith? Are putting together a one-time scholarship in Judge John Lowe's name, and they're selling T-shirts to the members of that group. But the judge, he is buying a few of those T-shirts and donating some money, and he just asked, would the city be interested in putting in some money to sponsor this one-time scholarship?
I think it would be,
I would.
I think it'd be appropriate. Depending on what y'all want to do.
I didn't know if the city could do it or if anyone would be willing to do it, but I definitely would like to pay homage to.
Judge Lowe was here.
Yes, yeah.
And he wasn't here at the beginning of the city.
Yep.
Yeah, he's the only judge that we ever had until he passed away. So.
Do you know what they're selling the t-shirts for?
No, but the T-shirts are only, I think they're the municipal judge conference. That's what they are. They're not Judge Lowe. I asked that. They have nothing to do with Judge Lowe. He said, oh, if they did, he would let us know. But no, they're just selling the T-shirt to the members.
Do you need a amount?
And it's not on the agenda to vote on tonight, but I can put that. We can do that at the. We can discuss it at the work session. So as long as I could let him know.
Yeah.
If you guys had an amount.
I don't have,
Okay.
I don't have a problem with
Oh, me, not at all.
Do you have an amount maybe in mind that I could at least tell them that this is what we, may be able to do, or?
I'd say $500.
Okay,
So that comes off of Bowersville.
Yeah, it comes
right.
Yeah, let David know.
Mr. Whitaker's gonna
Yeah,
match it
okay.
dollar for dollar.
Yeah.
Okay. So 500 is okay, okay.
As far as I'm concerned, if the city wants to give 500, you can take 100 of it out of my city proceed check.
Mine too, that'll work for me.
Me too.
That'll work for me.
I have no problem with that. That way we will not be spending taxpayers' dollars on, so you can just take it out.
Yeah, just take 100 out of mine. I don't care.
I'll make a donation, personal donation. I knew Judge Lowe for 40 years, and his business was right next door to our office, and I would often go over.
I wouldn't have a problem with that.
It just don't tax us.
Just need to know how to make a check.
Right, and I'm not real sure that I don't know how to take it out of y'all's check. So,
Just
I'll
write
just
it,
bring it,
each one of them $100 less.
okay, I'll figure that out. Okay.
Sounds easy.
Either that or I can make it simpler. I'll just give you $100.
That way, I just give you the 100 when you give me, whatever.
It would be easier for me.
Okay.
Yeah.
Make
So,
it
That's
easier.
fine.
okay. So if you guys want to do that, I will at least let him know that yes, that, and then I can ask, maybe the police department too about the donation. So.
Well, I
we
don't
can do that.
think a lot of the citizens necessarily knew Judge Lowe.
No.
But I
you're
think
right,
all
they
of
did.
us around this table
Yeah,
knew Judge
yeah,
Lowe.
Yes,
And
I knew him for over 30 years.
right,
I definitely have no problem doing that. And I think a lot of the police department's going to want
Right.
to donate.
I do too. Yeah,
So, yeah, I think that'd be the
okay.
way to go.
I'll let him know that.
Whatever you get from us and what you get from them.
The
Please,
police.
if they want to donate, that'd be great.
Okay. All right, thank you.
Yeah, I'm bringing cash.
Got anything else?
No, that's it.
You have that much laying around?
All right, commissioners' comments. Anybody? David?
Yeah, I read in the computer, we're getting money from the state, around 180,000.
Yes, we are.
If you don't mind, put that on work session, so what we're gonna do, have we got it yet?
Well, that's going to go on the budget because we do
Oh,
have to
okay.
allocate that money before we can spend it.
Okay.
And I believe we have to apply for it. It's a simple application online.
Don't
But,
they stipulate what we can and
yes, they
can't
do.
Yes,
Yeah.
Yes.
this year mark for a lot of
Use it for
things.
change orders.
Nope.
No,
I can tell you the answer to that already.
I forget what you can change. You can.
You can use it for street.
Street paving, I know, streets.
That's,
But you can use it for computer and IT, the computer upgrades.
well, streets were $5,000 over
When
You
we
mean from the
gonna,
audit?
from the audit.
That was a budgeting issue, yeah.
when we gonna have bids on the street for paving or anything like that?
I'm waiting on Jerry. He was getting, I think he was waiting for the measurements so we could bid it out. And I don't have the roads or
How's he
anything.
gonna do his priorities? How's he gonna know?
Well, we're talking about whatever we budgeted for this past year, if we have to bid out the paving because we were going like a year to year on Rogers Group. And oil prices are so low now, we need to rebid it. And so that's why, so.
Well, I think what David's asking, how is he going to prioritize the streets?
Which one needs the worst?
How's he going to decide which streets will pay?
Well, did he not present those in our budget discussions?
He showed us.
He gave us a list of streets.
He gave us a
He
list.
did prioritize last,
And I
okay.
told him to put mine last because it's not but 2/10 of a mile. And it's not but 2, 3,
I think they ought to be prioritized in two different ways. Which ones need it the worst,
Right.
and then which ones have the most traffic on them.
Right.
And I don't know, maybe I forgot, but I thought in the budget discussion, he gave us a list of streets for this fiscal year we're in. So, but we can look at that again if we need to change anything. We can look at those.
And he had the links on those roads.
Okay.
That list that he gave us, he had the links of the roads, whether it be a mile or whatever, you know.
So I'll get back with him.
Is the street paving something that'll happen this year, or is it gonna happen in 21?
Well, we have 200,000 budgeted, so if it doesn't get done, since we have to take bids, it's probably not gonna get done this year, fiscal year, but we can double the amount for,
But how long does it take to get the bids?
well, it shouldn't take long, but
No more than 60 days.
that's what I'm saying, though. I think if we can get an ad in the paper, and then, I mean, if we get, let's say we had all the numbers, and it went in next Friday's paper, we have to give a deadline of 14 days to respond. So then we're already into mid-June. So,
Yeah, well, you can pave all the way up to October, November.
yeah,
So what I'm saying is, if Jerry's already got a list of streets, have them all bid.
Mhm.
And then we can pick out the ones based on his list of how much money we're gonna spend. We can pick out what there is to pay.
Yeah.
But get them bid now.
Yeah. Is that 200,000
in there
including what
to bid.
wasn't spent last year?
that's what I'm talking about. We've got 200,000 now, and then whatever we budget in the 2021 budget. So,
I mean, this.
but keep in mind, we won't have the money on July 1st because we've got to wait for all the gas tax money to come in. So that's why it always rolls around to the following spring.
Well, expect the gas tax budget to go down for 2020, for 21, 22.
Sure, yeah, it will, yeah.
But it just seems to me like we budget to pave streets and we're a year behind every time.
Mhm.
When we know we need to have them bid out, from now on, just start in May, getting them bid out. April, getting them bid out.
Well, and I think what had happened is like I said, for like 4 or 5 years ago, we had the contract with Rogers Group, and they allowed us to continue it each year. But it got to the point, and Jerry assumed that was going to happen this year. And I just let Jerry know, we're not going to do that anymore, not continue that same one from 3 or 4 years ago due to the oil prices and everything right now. We need to bid it out and give other vendors an opportunity, and maybe even Rogers Group, but we need to bid it out on a new contract because we were going off of one that was 3 or 4 years old.
There's gonna be some streets that's gonna be pretty expensive to repave. Spring Hollow is gonna have
Yes,
to be
it's awful.
milled. Well, it's not just gonna have to be paved, it's gotta be milled. The pavement's up to the top of the curbs. So.
I do know at one time that whole subdivision was going to be about 400,000 by itself.
Yeah, well, I don't think we need to do the whole subdivision,
It's
but,
pretty bad though, but yeah, Spring Hollow is bad.
yeah, the main road is
Yes,
bad,
it is.
but the other roads are not as bad.
Yeah.
I think Gary and a person with him was with Roger Group, and they were right last year, all the roads. And that's what he was doing last year.
You just find that list that Jerry
Yeah, I
had.
just think we need to get the bid, we need to get the bid out. Paving needs to
But
be
that
done
wasn't this
sooner
year,
than
it was
later.
last year, right?
And I think it's going to have email.
He did well, yeah, I got it with my budget stuff, I'm sure.
Yeah, I'm
And he
sure
did
Jerry got the
he did a list of prioritizing too.
Yep, he did.
But I'll remind him again to get that to me so we can bid it.
Is that all you had, Dave?
Yeah.
Yep.
I was gonna ask about that.
I was going to ask you about that. too.
Oh, yes, I just wanted you all to see that Rich Top did send a letter acknowledging, or that they already approved to move forward with the annexation of Mr. Foltz's property.
Well, I think we all agreed that.
Yeah, so I
As long as
sent,
somebody had it, that was fine.
and I responded to him, and I emailed it to him today, that we were in receipt of the letter and, that I would be in touch with him, contact him tomorrow so we can, coordinate our schedules. They do the annexation, we do the de-annexation at the same time. But I have never been involved in a de-annexation, so I told him I will need help with that.
You got to do is
So-
say yay.
I know an annexation these days, you gotta have like 400 readings and newspapers and everything, and it's quite
Just would not be that complicated.
So maybe
Clerical
de-annexation is that, not that bad, but, so we are going to, get on that too.
Is that all you got?
They put the new water line in over here on Old Shallow because of the bridge.
I have no idea.
Well, I went over today and just looked, see if there's anything started, and they're putting the water.
Oh, they've been working on that.
Pardon?
They've been working on them water lines.
Oh,
over there.
okay, all right.
It may be in conjunction with the bridge. It may have to be moved because I know the road has to shift to the left.
Well, if you're going, looking down the hill towards Tennant, it's on the left,
I
the
know,
water line is.
but the road has to shift to the left.
Yeah, they had a bunch of course, it was all fill rock that they put in the road, for storage, I'm sure, that's what they're doing now.
Yeah. That may be part of some of the utilities that had to be adjusted for them to rebuild the bridge. I know there's definitely some grading that's got to be done on that hill, so.
Okay, that's all I got.
Mr. Bell?
Got nothing?
Only thing I got is the public works thing.
Yes,
What we voted on a month and a half ago. That deadline is coming up in about 17 days.
and I did talk to Jerry about that today, and he's gonna let me know, when they are scheduled to go for the test.
Hope it's in the next 17.
Well, I told him to go ahead and schedule a couple at a time, and then give me that schedule when they're planning to
What
go.
is that, CDL?
Yes, the CDL.
I did see one operating today, down here.
Well, there's only two that can drive the CDL trucks. That's Jerry and Eric.
And today's a Tuesday, so yeah, it had to be Eric.
What are we gonna do about the sweeper? Oh, we're not using it.
We've had it 3 years. It's got 68 hours on it.
Cost us about $3,000 to have it repaired. Yeah. And serviced. Of course, the batteries were dead, but,
It's because it's never started.
They already spent it, a little over 2,000,
I did want to say one thing before we
just
go.
to get it running.
I emailed you all a copy of our reopening of City Hall. Just so you know, we did reopen to the public on Monday with some stipulations, some limited access. But if you didn't get a copy of that, I can furnish you a copy. We are asking people to please to wear a mask. It's encouraged, but we're not requiring it. But we are having employees, when someone is in the office without a mask, that we wear one.
Yeah.
But also we're screening the employees that come in every day with the temperatures and so forth.
Yeah, Larry and Keith look a whole lot better wearing them.
Okay.
Well, with your
Appreciate you
haircut, I
wearing,
can understand.
wear them every day, okay?
And we'll take it week by week or however, the government reacts to it. Well, before we start lifting certain restrictions, we'll just wait and see. That's all.
All right, motion to adjourn.
Move that we adjourn.
All those in favor?
Aye.
We're adjourned.
Oh.